Wonder what my evil doppelganger looks like. Probably me, because it's my evil doppelganger. That was my attempt at a cold open joke, and it didn't work. Here I am for my spoiler-free review of Us. Us is the new movie starring Jordan Peele. No, that's not right. Us is the new movie directed by Jordan Peele, starring Lupita Nyong'o and Winston Duke. It's about a family who gets attacked by evil doppelgangers of themselves. That's not spoiling anything, I don't think. Everything that I'm about to say is in the trailer. This is a movie that I was really excited about to see because there was the one trailer they released. They had that I Got Five on Its On where they slowed down the music and they put it in the trailer and kind of made it set it to as the score of the trailer. And I thought that was a really cool hook to get people in because different shows, Westworld is one I can think of that recently does stuff like that where they incorporate pop songs into the score. And I thought that was a good element of this movie because it's sprinkled throughout. Unless you're a real score junkie and are spoiled by stuff like that, I don't think that's a spoiler. Plot of this movie is complicated but basic at the same time. Um, I liked the first two acts of this movie a lot. Third act of the movie, I'm kind of just sitting there like, did I miss something? And so that's kind of how I felt leaving the movie. There are twists in the movie. The movie turns, and it kind of there are reveals in the movie. Um, I didn't hate the reveals in the movie. I just kind of felt like they were unearned in a way. You got to talk about the acting when you talk about a movie like this because there's basically four, six, seven, eight actors in the movie, and some of them are playing more than one version of themselves, as you can see in the trailer. And I think for when they're playing the darker versions of themselves, Lupita Nyong'o, Winston Duke, they deliver as far as acting goes. But when they're playing the regular, like, all American family, it just kind of seems like Lupita Nyong'o, Winston Duke, especially Lupita Nyong'o for this part of the movie at least, seems like she's phoning it a little bit. Lupita Nyong'o phoning it in is better than most people are on a regular day, so she's still great in the movie, but it's just, even in roles like Black Panther, um, Star Wars even, I just feel more weight to them. And this, I kind of just felt like she was playing a character in a horror movie. Now, a lot of things that I hear people saying was that it's not a straight up horror movie, which I would agree with that. It's kind of like this Twilight Zone feel of these doppelgangers. It's this science fiction, science fantasy element of it. What I'll say about the science fiction, science fantasy element of it, once the characters see it, they accept it. It's not something that they really lean too heavy on, like, oh my god, I can't believe this is happening. There is some of that, but it's kind of just, okay, this is what's happening. We need to survive. We need to move. Um, this movie's really well directed. Jordan Peele has a lot of stylistic approaches. There's a few fixed camera shots that I thought were pretty good. Some light action sequences in this movie, like small fights that were all right. Nothing particularly stood out to me in this movie as far as a sequence or a scene where I'm going to tell people you have to wait for this scene. You have to watch out for this scene. And that kind of comes to where this movie fails for me. And I don't even consider it a failure, but I didn't find it scary. I wasn't scared. Maybe it's just because Doppelgangers from Earth 2 is something that I'm used to from watching shows like The Flash or reading comic books and other movies. For this, I just wasn't scared at any time. And I'm not sure if that's just to blame myself because I'm just jaded by horror movies and just scary things in general. Yeah, the last scary movie I think I saw in the theaters was Spider-Man 2. I saw other quote unquote scary movies in the theater. It's just Spider-Man 2 is the last time I remember actually being scared in the theater. But that was one of those things about this movie. I was never scared in the theater. It didn't really elicit any emotional reaction from me. I was entertained while I was watching it. I think the actors that play the kids in the movie are pretty good, especially considering that they have to play dual roles, dual identities, sort of, in this movie. There are a few twists and turns that I didn't necessarily see it going in based on the trailers that we got, or the one trailer that we got. That's one thing that I will say about it is the strength of this movie. Since we only got that one trailer, I never really felt like I knew what was coming. I didn't know how this movie was going to end. One really big weakness of this movie, and I kind of said this about Get Out, and it wasn't as big of a deal with Get Out because I was watching it at home and I could kind of just skip through it. Jordan Peele really loves long, extended opening credit sequences that just kind of hang on a shot. And there's one in this movie that really, I'm like 3 minutes into this movie and I'm like, oh my God. I sarcastically looked over to my dad. I'm like, this is terrifying. But it wasn't. It was more sarcastic just because it was boring, is how I felt. That's not how I felt in the movie overall. I was never bored during the movie. But there were a few times where I was kind of just thinking, when's this gonna end? Where's this gonna go? Is this gonna kind of pick up? And it kind of stays the same pace the entire movie. So I'm gonna give it 6 out of 10, 3 out of 5, whatever you want to take that as. Um, Liked it, didn't love it. It's not a movie that I'm gonna rush out to see again. I actually might though, just because Devin hasn't seen it yet, and I might see it with him tomorrow or the day after. But yeah, 6 out of 10, 3 out of 5, whatever you. I don't know if that's considered fresh in people's eyes. I think it is, but yeah, I would say one thumb up. I kind of prefer the one thumb up, two thumbs up approach because then I could like give one thumb down if I think it's bad but not really bad. So yeah, I'd say one thumb up for this movie. So if you want to see more reviews like this, let me know, and I'll be doing more reviews like this. And I've been Nicky. This is my channel, NickyFlix. Those are my action figures. This is my microphone. And I don't know why I'm rambling on anymore. So, you guys have a good day. Bye bye now. Take care.